And we're back on day one of the 10th annual Toronto Raptors Coaches Open House presented by Tangerine. I'm Sherman Hamilton. Now we're pleased to be joined again in conversation with junior NBA lead clinician, Jeremiah Boswell. In case you missed our first session, Jeremiah is a former professional basketball player from Georgia who has played around the world. When his playing days were behind him, he moved into youth development and is frequently featured on the junior NBA social media platforms, offering up personal training tips and tricks. Jeremiah, welcome back. You were great the first time around. You ready to go again?
I hope I can do it again. Yes, sir. Let's do it.
I'm sure you'll be fine. All right, we spoke earlier about best strategies and practices for having athletes in the gym right now during this pandemic, but a lot of basketball programming is being offered virtually. For most people, running virtual youth basketball programming is the new thing. But for you, it's just another Tuesday, basically. That's what you do, right?
Yeah, it is our new normal, right? Loving it though. I think health and safety is first and foremost, and we kind of talked about it before. I haven't been in the gym that much. It's been rare because we've been doing so much virtually, which has been awesome. Really kind of a new way to engage and enjoy the game.
Okay, what platform do you use? Is it Zoom? Is it WebEx? Is it Google Meet? Like, what platform do you use to do your clinics?
I got most comfortable with Zoom first, and so that's kind of where I've been for the most part. I've participated in things on different platforms, though, Twitch and whatnot. But I like Zoom, and I think it kind of became popular more widely for kids and parents as well. So I've kind of stuck with that.
All right, Jeremiah, when we talk about coaching, I mean, a lot of the things that are involved with coaching involve being connected to players, being able to touch them, talk to them, look at them in the eye, see their body language in person. But right now, it's tough to do that because we're doing it virtually. But when you talk about the enthusiasm and the energy that you can bring to a gym, how do you transfer that into virtual coaching?
I think it all starts with the coach, and kids follow the energy of a coach. And so if I start a session and I start just like I've just started now, I might have already lost the kid because I'm talking for 8, 10 seconds and there's not much enthusiasm. But if they come into a Zoom room and they log on and I'm like, yeah, let's go, here we go, yeah, all right, I see you. Now there's a different energy, and it's the same thing that we do on the court, right? I'm clapping, I'm raising my voice, I'm saying some nice words, I'm calling out the players' names to encourage. So it's really just bring your energy to it, and I think for me something that's also helped, and it helps in person as well, is that sweat equity. And so if I'm going through the process with them, it helps them see it, feel it. My energy picks up, my blood's flowing, and so I think that helps as well.
Absolutely. Now, one of the things is access to equipment during this time. It's more difficult to have facilities and everything available to you. So, how do you get kids moving in a small space with basically minimal equipment?
Yeah, I think the beauty of basketball is that you look at Luka Doncic, you look at James Harden, all these guys, and there's been so many studies that show how valuable it is to be able to start and stop well. And so basketball is one of those unique dynamic sports where you really don't have to go that far, but everybody knows basketball is like unlike any other workout. So you're jumping, you're pushing laterally, you're pushing backwards, you're going forward, you're going vertical, and there are just all these different dynamic elements. You're sitting in a stance, you have active hands, so you're using your arms, and so you really don't have to move that much to get a really, really good workout. Even as you see these kids here, like doing basic ball handling here, but they're sitting in a stance, right? So they've got their knees bent. You can see they're starting to get tired a little bit. Maybe they have to protect it with an offhand or move their feet. So there's lots of movement stuff that can be done within a very narrow frame for basketball and basketball development.
Awesome, coach. And when you talk about the ability to to get the energy and the movement going and things of that nature. Um, when you're explaining these activities and you're trying to really get the information across, how different do you do it now than you would do it in person?
Fairly different. I think I've become a better coach in that, coaches should talk in segments, and I think this has helped me clean some of that up. I think it's also helped kind of name some drills, whereas before you're in a gym and we're saying, okay, we'll do this that does this, and maybe I demonstrate, but now I have better names to the drills. I also think changing my delivery as how I get to those drills has been fun. And so, like I have a wheel that I'll spin, and it's got a little arrow, and you spin it and clicks, and wherever it stops, that's the drill we're doing. And so the kids are engaged; they want to see what's happening. So kind of getting to things in different ways has helped me, improve and deliver better.
Absolutely. Create a little bit of excitement during the process. All right, what basketball specific activities or drills do you find work well in a virtual setting?
Yeah, one I should note that I've used the home court app quite a bit for kids when they're kind of getting homework and doing stuff on their own. But kind of things that I think work for me is stuff that is kind of like that spin the wheel idea where I don't know what's coming, the kids don't know what's coming, and so I have a large die, I spin the dice, it comes up, and if it's a number four, we do this, or number six, we do that. But we're able to assign any of those drills. It's just a fun way to get to it to the court, right? And so, we're showing here a little push to balance drill, which everybody's first step is really important, or everybody knows what a Euro step is, right? And so here's a simple kind of push and balance that works on stability muscles and explosion, but also you can see the translation of it. So we may not have a full half court to explode out and dribble down the court, but we're working on it. So I think all ball handling drills are still very relevant. Like I said, the starting and stopping of basketball you can really get into. I think some of the elements of form shooting and shooting are still very important. And I think there's some other stuff that you can hit on too that maybe, the detail that you weren't getting into, you can now. And so now I'm talking a little bit more about, what's your pickup like? So that means, from your dribble to get to your shot, are you picking the ball up quickly? Right? What is your pickup? Where are you picking it up to? Are you coming, if you're dribbling on your left side, are you picking it up on your left side and bringing it to your right? Or are you picking it up and bringing it across the body, hip to hip, and then up? And so now we're able to get into a little more detail about some of the stuff that maybe we would skim over before. So again, hopefully some good stuff there, but a lot of good videos that you can see and fun interaction there.
Awesome. Do you use a chat function, coach?
Not much, to be honest. I like to be as engaged and dynamic as possible throughout, and don't like to necessarily stop a lot and try to read or have others kind of stopping to type and do some of that. So I haven't as much. I think there is a way to do it and it be done really well. I just personally haven't.
All right. All right. We have a few questions from the folks watching. So let's get to a few of those if you don't mind. And we're going to start with Coach Lisa from Hamilton. And she wants to know how long is too long for a virtual practice?
Hey, Coach Lisa. Good question. I think it really all depends on the age and all depends on the coach and the energy that we talked about. 30 minutes can be a long time in this format. If you have, something that you're really trying to get through and need to go longer, that works too. But to me, we're not doing a ton of combo moves to shooting kind of stuff. So we're able to have some fun, get warm, work on some ball handling, some basketball footwork usually, maybe some shooting stuff, maybe a couple of exciting, fun games. And all of that, I think, can happen within that 30-minute window. I think, kids lose their focus easily. in this setting. So that's kind of where I've been capping out. I've seen others who have gone longer, but that's just kind of been my window.
Awesome. All right. Coach Brandon from North York wants to know if you only had 10 minutes to train or practice, what are you doing in those 10 minutes to maximize that time?
Great question. Again, I have to say it depends on the age of the kid and who they are, what we're working on. Um, but in 10 minutes, definitely make sure I hit some sort of fun work warm up. So, probably not just stand stretch kind of things, but something dynamic that's gamified just to get warm. Maybe that takes a minute around that amount of time. Then I would probably move into some ball handling again, fun, high energy turnover really quick. So we're kind of hitting stuff, changing, hitting stuff, changing, hitting stuff, change. And that might take maybe 2 minutes, maybe 3 minutes, somewhere in there. I would go to some basketball footwork. And so, we're talking about jump stops, pivots, jab steps, pullbacks, anything of that nature, but in a fun way, hopefully, make it engaging. Again, that's another 2 minutes. And then, or a few minutes. Got to hit on a little bit of shooting, and depending on if we have a basket or not, I'm probably not going to, go out and do a bunch of shooting reps, but a fun shooting game where you don't have to have a basket that's working on good form shooting. I'll tease it just because I call it the perfect shot drill. Basically, you can stand up, you've got a ball in your hand, you bend your knees, you do all the teaching points that you're supposed to do for form shooting. However, when you shoot and you release the ball, you leave your hand exactly where it is. The ball goes into the air, has to bounce in front of you off the ground, and because of your rotation and because you shot the ball high enough, the ball has to bounce and come back and hit your hand without you moving your hand. So now I get a point, or I get, rewarded for that success. And again, it's going to make me, I've got to get my elbow up high and follow through high. So the ball is going up in the air nice and high so it can bounce back. I've got good rotation so it can hit a specific spot. I can't be too far out. It can't be left. It can't be right. Specific spot, bounce back to my hand. And so I like that game if I'm going to do something quick with shooting. And then kind of finish out with something fun. May or may not have a basketball included. Could be a defensive slide, kind of high energy drill as well. So 10 minutes, I think you can get a lot in 10 minutes this way.
Clearly, you know how to maximize 10 minutes, Coach. Great job. All right, Coach Josh from Scarborough wants to know what are some effective, good drills to develop the offhand?
Coach, thanks for the question. This is so important for a lot of youth. I think there's a certain point where you have to paint the picture of them for them that look how big the court is, and you're cutting it in half because you can only go right or you can only go left. So this is the only part of the court you get to use. You don't even get this side. One thing that I think I've used a little bit during this time is just saying, hey, for a week, for a month, whatever it is, kind of set a length of time. Everything you normally do, with your right hand or your strong hand, do with your other hand around the house, right? So when you're opening doors, when you're, eating, whatever it is, change and use the other hand. Surprisingly, that actually does help and carries over into basketball. So I think that's a good starting point. But I do think there's opportunities during those sessions to double down on left-handed touch, feel, ball handling, comfort, all of that, because ultimately in a virtual world, it doesn't matter that much if you fail, if you lose the ball. There's no defenders. There's no reason for you to be worried about my left hand not succeeding, right? And so this is a perfect time to really just double down on the drills that you already have for everybody and do more.
Awesome, Jeremiah. We really appreciate you for taking the time to be with us. You presented a lot of good information, so thank you very much.
Absolutely. Thank you guys, and good luck to everybody. Let me know if I can help in any other way.
Awesome. And we want to send a big thanks to Tangerine. Without them, this wouldn't be possible. We want you to stay tuned for the Kahoot session next. And we really appreciate all of you joining us. Hope you had a great time and enjoyed all the information on day one of our 10th annual, but first virtual, Toronto Raptors Coaches Open House.